The law of averages is that something's either going to be hit by malfunction, hit by friendly fire. You'll recall in the early days of this war, Kuwait actually downed 3 American aircraft with its air defense, and now this. An F-15 has 2 aircrew, obviously a pilot and a weapons officer. The colonel rescued is the weapons officer. He'll be the back seat. This is a extraordinary operation, and I would say, wouldn't I, thankfully successful. It's worth remembering that Donald Trump was himself personally, very scarred by the images of the hostage crisis of 1979, 1980, including, of course, the failure of the mission to rescue. Again, there were pictures, of course, of Iranians dancing on the wreckage of American aircraft and in Desert Claw. It's one of the hazards, inevitably, of a large air campaign, that the law of averages is that something's either going to be hit by malfunction, hit by friendly fire. You'll recall in the early days of this war, Kuwait actually downed 3 American aircraft with its air defense, and now this. An F-15 has 2 aircrew, obviously a pilot and a weapons officer. The colonel rescued is the weapons officer. He'll be the back seat. For those who watched Top Gun, that is the goose as opposed to the Maverick post. And when the aircraft is hit, obviously both eject. What was interesting is the pilot ejected and was found relatively quickly and was rescued, and the weapons officer was not. They would have landed inevitably a good distance, probably from each other. They'd both have transponders. They'd know pretty quickly where they'd landed. There'd be a transponder probably in the ejector seat. I'm not an airman, I'm a cavalryman, armor officer, and clearly on the pilot. Now, in this case, of course, the pilot, although we understand to have been wounded or damaged in some way, whether by the ejector or the strike on the aircraft, will have gone into his escape and evasion tactics, which every pilot, every air crew is taught as just part of their basic training. Well, they're very much, just checking you've got kit for survival, that your transponder's working, that you've got away as quickly as you can from, obviously, the site of the downed aircraft, because that's exactly where, obviously, local troops are going to come in. And there will be, inevitably, any number of films about this. Locals will know where it's landed. They'll have seen the parachutes come down. There will be local police. There may be a local barracks. And all of these have a certain degree of sheer luck if you're far enough away from them to, A, put a distance between yourself and the ejector seat or the debris of the crashed aircraft, and you can quickly be located. But even if you're located, you've actually got to be retrieved. I don't know the circumstances of the pilot being rescued, but this obviously was a man who was, however badly injured, trying to put distance between himself and the aircraft, the ejector seat. And meanwhile, of course, they will have got drones over him, armed drones. So they will have had eyes on him in many ways. They'll have been able to track him anyway, but they'll have sooner or later had eyes on him, thermal imaging at night, visual during the day. But even then, you've got to imagine a net getting closer and closer around him. And eventually, you've got to put somebody on the ground who can physically lift him off. And in that, you've got to create a sort of area, sanitized area around him. Yes, it could be, but it also makes it quite difficult, of course, to get helicopters in to land them. So there are some advantages to the person trying to hide. There are possibly some disadvantages to trying to find somewhere to land helicopters in order to put an extraction force in. But it is mountainous around there. I don't know exactly. I've seen a map in terms of a large scale map. But all of that, you will be told to move in a certain direction or they'll be dropping messages, or they'll be getting close enough to at least contact him, or trying to direct him to somewhere where they can do a hot extraction from a helicopter landing site, an HLS.